Sati was a Hindu practice where a woman sacrificed herself on the pyre of her dead husband. But was Sati a religious obligation? Not so. A corrupt practice was used, and the word Agra meaning first or earlier was changed to Agne meaning fire of the funeral hymn. The hymn directed the widow to sit facing her dead husband after moistening her eyes with ghee, then to rise and resume her place in the world. In Mahabharata, 5 wives of Krishna immolated themselves, but all others survived. His wife Satyabhama went to the forest to perform penance. None of the wives of King Dashrath or Ravan immolated themselves. Many Orientalists such as H. Wilson, William Jones and Cassels have contested the twisted nature of the Rig Veda hymn. None of the manuscripts such as Manusmriti, Kautilya's Arthashastra, Dharma Sutra prescribes for Sati. The Tantric and Shakti cult completely forbade the practice. There was an equal amount of commendation and condemnation around the practice of Sati during the 6th century AD. There are also instances recorded where a Hindu woman wanted to immolate herself but was prevented by her family members, like in case of Queen Rajshri, the widowed queen of King Grihavarman of the Mokhara family. The practice was by no means encouraged, but a life of austerity, purity and chastity in widowhood was advocated. The author of Stri Dharma Paddhati, who supported Sati practice, citing it as a way of salvation for both husband and wife, also stated the option for widows to live freely on their wishes. The earliest historical account of Sati available is by Diodorus. The original Sati, the virtuous wife of Lord Shiva, died in protest at the insult of her husband by her father Daksh. Sati then denoted the chaste, faithful wife and not the rite of widow burning. The term carried with it association of great virtue, personal strength and religious autonomy. Among women who attained this status without immolating themselves were Sati Savitri, Sati Sita and Sati Ansuya. It appeared originally to have been a Kshatri custom in the Rajput ruling family and was rare among the common people. Rajput women seemed to require little urging to become Satis. It is important to note that the incidence of Sati increased during the medieval era due to contact with Muslim culture. Jauhar or collective self-immolation was performed by Hindu women during times of hostilities. Jauhar by Queen Padmavati is well known, which was performed when a kingdom of Chittor was attacked by Alauddin Khilji. Hindus subjugated by Muslim invaders concerned about female dignity and cultural prestige took these steps. Many historical accounts suggest that Rajput women of martial families have been the most willing to accompany their husbands on the funeral pyres. In the Maratha kingdom, Jijabai, mother of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, did not immolate herself at the request of her son. Queen Ahilya Bai Holkar did not become Sati at the request of her father-in-law and stood out as a strong ruler spreading the message of Dharma. She moved on to funding the reconstruction of Kashi Vishwanath temple, which had been destroyed in the past and subsequently converted into a mosque by Aurangzeb in 1669. She also contributed to the construction of temples including Shri Tarakeshwar, Shri Gangaji, Ahilya Dwarkeshwar, Gautameshwar and reconstruction of ghats including Manikarnika Ghat, Dashashwamedh Ghat, Gyan Ghat, Ahilya Ghat, Sheetala Ghat, construction of Uttar Kashi Dharmshala, Rameshwar Panchkoshi Dharmshala, Kapiladhara Dharmshala and gardens. Queen Ahilya Bai Holkar also advised her daughter Mukta Bai not to immolate herself. It is very difficult to answer that was Sati forced? Travelers like Al-Baruni and Ibn Battuta recorded that the rite was not obligatory. William Hawkins, captain of the first vessel to display the English flag on the coast of India, stated that he had seen many widows brought before the king, who tried to discourage them with promise of gifts, but all were in vain. One William Methwold recorded a case from Masulipatanam in South India involving the widow of a goldsmith, who was denied permission by the Kotwal to ascend the pyre of her husband and hanged herself. In AD 1627, Thomas Herbert wrote an account where he declared Sati a safeguard for the husband from an unfaithful wife who would murder him to escape from him. The idea of Sati as a punishment for husband murder was agreeable to some Europeans as it coincided with the Christian sense of the sinfulness of women. But these accounts were rejected later on, and Sati was presented as the widow's martial loyalty. There may be instances of unwilling immolation, but there were also many instances where a woman by her will ascended her husband's pyre in full courage and devotion. Epigraphic evidence indicates that the number of widow immolations does not appear very large, and there is much evidence that family members and Brahmins dissuaded not to commit sati. European writings in the first three quarters of the 18th century mostly viewed the sacrifice as voluntary. In the later period, when evangelicals and Baptist missionaries launched a vigorous campaign for the right of proselytization in India, sati was portrayed as involuntary or forced practice.